Well, some stuff happened. First, I need to note that my mouse suddenly stopped functioning, but all the stores will be closed for a few days, so I cannot replace it. I think it actually just needs more batteries. But anyway, I can't do anything about that. So I'm instead using the mouse pad, which I never use, but I have to now. Anyway, it's a bit more finicky, so this will be somewhat awkward. Anyway, I did some building, as you can see. There's a line of houses along the edge. Of course, game's nice and laggy. Always needs to be laggy. I've had a bit of a problem now in that I am running out of people. I have 1,180, the population is increasing. And also the women and men have been somewhat equalized. 342 men versus 380 women, so it's better now. The piglets also have 12 health as opposed to the, I think, 4 they had earlier, so that's great. However, I really just don't have enough workers. As you can see, I have these deactivated. My copper foundry is deactivated, as is my tin foundry, because I just need more people to work these things. I need more people to make coke, I need more people to make bread, I need more people to make cider. I just need more, and I don't have more. Oh well, at least I've reduced my waste by quite a lot. I'm making quite a large income, as I was making quite a large income a few minutes ago. It was 300, now it's 100. I don't know, that fluctuates rather wildly. I just don't worry about it. Anyway, I'm doing pretty well though, overall. The lack of workers is annoying, but workable. Also, I am upgrading a few more houses. These building materials are very expensive. Plaster and planks and stone blocks. Well, I guess they're not expensive so much as they are, or plaster's expensive, as so much as they are just tedious to acquire because they are created very slowly. Anyway, that's coming along. Other than that, not much has happened. I have built enough houses for all of the slum dwellers. At least I think I did. If there are more slums, I don't know where they are because I can't see them. They're a bit difficult to identify. Wow, this is really laggy. Oh well. Anyway, I also built another port because I was running out of cargo supplies, cargo capacity, but overall that's going just fine. Oh, I actually can't even recall what's happened since the last time I recorded. Not that long has passed though, just a few days I think. Yeah. Oh, did I forget to press record again? Nope, I did not. Or did I? I think I did. There appears to be no audio. Is there audio? Yes, there's audio. Strange. Whatever. Anyway, what else do I want to talk about? Oh, right, yes, there's a big development. Bukovina is at 24,000 points. You might remember that Bukovina's points previously were something like 36 or yeah, I think it was 36,000, and so now they're 24,000. So there's a big drop, and the reason for that is that Draelk, the guy who was the Tsar of Bukovina, apparently was logged out for a few days, and there was a bug when he logged out that caused the wealth calculation of his citizens to be somewhat skewed. So none of his citizens could afford to buy food, which then messed with all of his tax calculations and trade routes and stuff. So when he came back after a few days, he saw that lots of his people had died of starvation, and that his debt was something like, I forget what the number was, like 20 or 30,000 coins. And debt reduces state power. And earlier in this video series, I was at, I think, minus, I don't remember, 20 or minus 15 or so state power, and even that was a little annoying to deal with, but he was at minus 300, I think, state power. I don't remember exactly, but it was some enormously ridiculous number. Everything was trending to zero. He was in a really bad spot, and apparently he tried to fix it and failed, and so he lost his big fancy expensive, well-protected city. And that caused his score to be reduced massively. But I think he lost his capital. I don't know exactly which city he lost, but regardless, his civilization collapsed. And so he had nothing more to do, so he came to me. So anyway, I'm almost in first place now. I just need 2,000 more points. And that should come pretty quickly, because you might notice that this city is no longer here. Draelk, so I wanted him actually to spawn here. This is an inactive player that has 3 cities, and Draelk, obviously, as the Tsar of Bukovina, was a pretty good player, and so I think he would be great taking control of an already advanced civilization, but I forgot. When I gave him the invite code, I meant to tell him to spawn as a new leader instead as a successor. Those are 2 different options in the character selection screen. Because if you pick succession, that means you'll get one of these rebel or barbarian cities. But if you pick new leader, then you take control of one of these inactive cities, like Varkas Blacktusk over here, or Remus. I forgot. I forgot to tell him to pick new leader. And so then he spawned, of course, here. Because the invite code just picks whatever city is closest to my capital. And I'm not really sure how it calculates distance here, but apparently it thought that one was closer. Anyway, that one had nothing. That one was a Stone Age settlement. That tile had nothing useful on it, and so Draelk, at my suggestion, decided to migrate. And I told him he could settle over here, east of White Rock, but then I realized he could just respawn. And so that's what I'll have him do. Respawn as a new leader with an urban porcorum, and then I also think... The problem is, though, if he picks a new leader, he might spawn in Urbem, or he might spawn in Hoggy Iron. Obviously, Urbem is what we want. And so I'm thinking I should give him an invite code from one of my vassals, but the problem is, so if I gave him Tam's invite code, he would get Hoggy Iron for sure, but if I gave him Queethin's invite code... Oh yeah, by the way, Queethin. I forgot. He's another vassal. He took control of the city that was here, and then he migrated to this tile because it was better, and he also built a city in Swine to get hunters and copper. And he's developed quite a lot. Also, Bauerfeld was repopulated. The loyalty... It never actually rebelled. The loyalty increased again, and Tam was able to retake it. And it never rebelled because there were no people to rebel. So my evacuation strategy worked. I'm very happy that worked. Anyway, these things are coming along now. And what was I saying? Right, so if I gave Draelk the invite code from Queethin, then, or Snotshot, as he calls himself, then I don't know whether he would spawn in Hoggy Iron or Urbem, because they're both equidistant from Queethin's capital. I guess I could give him the invite code from Porcamore, but the problem is that this player is inactive. He's not officially inactive. As you can see, it still says active, but he says he won't play anymore. So I will need then to replace him, but of course I can't replace him until he officially goes inactive, so I have to wait for that. And so I can't get his invite code either because he won't log in. Although maybe I can ask him to log in just to get his invite code, possibly. And if I use that invite code, then definitely Draelk would spawn in Urbem, because that's only 1, 2, 3 tiles, or maybe it's, I don't know how it calculates, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. It's closer than Hoggy Iron. Oh hey, somebody's moving around. Who's this? It's Queethin. Hello, Queethin. Queethin's online. Anyway. My vassals are asking me to do something, but I can't do that right now because I'm recording a video. Well, this one's pretty relaxed. Anyway, unfortunately, Draelk cannot respawn for 4 days, so, well, I guess it's 3.5 days now. So I have to wait for Draelk to be able to come back. I'm so annoyed with myself. I have to. So basically, my acquisition of a new vassal and acquiring all of this land for free was delayed because I just forgot one little detail. So frustrating. Oh well, whatever. It's fine. In 4 days, he'll come back. I mean, unless somebody else takes control of Urban. Suppose that's possible. Seems unlikely, though. This server doesn't seem to be too attractive at the moment. Anyway. I'll next record once I have replaced my mouse, and also once Draelk has come into the server. What else? Olivendorf is developing. I built some more stuff here. Its waste has been reduced by a bit because I made many scribes here. And I also made some houses, and it is exporting now 25 of tomatoes and figs. I think that's probably fine. I don't think I'll need to increase that anymore. Oh, also, this tile has grapes, which we desperately, desperately need. I want grapes so that I can start making wine, because wine is worth... Well, grapes themselves actually are luxury food, like olives, but they can be made into wine, and wine is much more valuable than cider. It would be a second kind of alcohol, so having another luxury food and a second kind of alcohol would increase the life quality of my citizens massively. I just need gazillions of grapes. And this is the only tile I know of that has grapes. I surveyed almost all of these tiles. Admittedly, I didn't do these ones over here. And I didn't find any grapes, or papyrus for that matter, frustratingly. But there's some barley on this tile, I believe, and grapes on that one, so that's what we need to focus on now. Also, I got a technology. It's yesterday, actually, just before I logged out. I got this glue technology, then I forgot to start researching it before I went to bed. And so then I come back, 14 hours later, and I think, oh, rats, I forgot that technology. I have to wait another 3 hours for it to research. Could have been done by now. Oh well, whatever. Not a big deal. It's a pretty easy one. And also, it's glue, which gives me the next level of furniture makers, and I believe glue leads to paper. I'm pretty sure. And paper is sort of the exquisite technology that we are all desperately hoping to get at some point, because higher level administrative buildings require paper. Lower level ones can use clay, but the higher level libraries and tax collectors and stuff need paper, and if we don't have paper, we can't do that. And there's no papyrus down here. That's what I did all that scouting for. I couldn't find any papyrus, so we just have to wait until we can make paper from wood, and I don't know how to do that. Anyway. I have been developing Olivendorf, like I said. It is now producing 51 olives, exporting 45 of them. I just plan to keep making more olives. It needs to eventually produce around 70 olives, I think. So there's a lot more work to be done there with Olivendorf. What else? Oh yes, also this means that we're basically alone on this server, so we can be pretty relaxed, actually. Now that doesn't mean we should stop trying to achieve the victory goals, but I don't need to worry so much about competition from Draelk anymore, because of course Draelk is out of the game. Well, I mean, for now. He'll be back in 4 days. And so I guess this means I'm guaranteed to get this most refined people. Of course, I'd like to get it sooner rather than later, but I can't because I need more people to man the culture buildings. It's frustrating. Also, this 57 life quality thing is pretty difficult. I was able to go to 50 life quality briefly, but then it went down again. I really need to increase the amount of olives that are available, and olive oil. But the problem is, and furniture and rugs. The problem is, though, that these things, I require more of them the more people live in my settlement. But of course, I need more people to live in my settlement to have more industries, and so as the population goes up, the average life quality is increasingly difficult to increase. Also, increasing intelligence would help too, but I need to have the schools and academia active for that, but I can't do that because I have enough people. Blah blah blah. Anyway, also I'm developing Außenfelder as well. I'm trying to get more leather from it. It's exporting, I think, 1 more leather than it was previously. I just sort of forgot about leather, and I need to produce more leather actually, because the amount of leather cloth, where is it? Here it is. is only at 59%. And so if I could just increase leather cloth production, that would be pretty great. And so I'll do that in Alcantara, but its population needs to increase. Whatever, not a problem. That'll happen eventually. What else? I'm also acquiring too much clay right now because my population still hasn't really quite recovered from that tumult a few days ago. I also have many, many tools. I don't need to make any more tools right now. What else? I feel like there's something I forgot. Oh, yes, that's right. I also reworked my titles because I realized that if I will have many vassals down here, I need to be able to give them titles. But I never expected for my civilization to expand into this area, so the titles are difficult because the penalties for vassals are applied with distance. And so ideally what I want to do is have strings of vassals and not have all the guys down here be my direct subordinates, because that would pay very large penalties. But the issue with that is, of course, that they all need to be direct subordinates of Donakulda. And then they all need to be direct subordinates of either Truffletot, who is this? Hermes, or Feed, who is Porkamore. And so there needs to be then these strings. So I'm rank 1, Donakulda is rank 2, these guys would be rank 3, and down here would be rank 4. But I'd also need a rank 5, so be the lowest level for the new players who take these little settlements. And so I reworked the titles, and now I introduced this Landgrave title, which is in between Margrave and Burgrave, which I think is fair. It has moderate taxation, although nobody has this title. Oh, yes, we do. Yeah, there they are. Landgraviates here. And then actually, I could probably make these two Burgraves instead of Landgraves, but I won't. They have 2 settlements. Whatever. Anyway, I'm getting lots of stuff, actually. Things are okay. My state power did go down quite a bit, though, because of this annoying vassal situation. I wonder if I could actually... now that I think about it, why not make this guy, why not make Redman a Margrave or a Landgrave, and then make these other guys his vassal? That would make sense. Sure, yeah. He won't care anyway. He's not around. He's not even playing anymore, so I can take all his money. It doesn't matter. So let's see. He's Chinzia, right? Okay. Chinzia, because of his proximity to me, will become a Margrave. And then Sumar will become a Landgrave under him. Right? No, I made him a Burgrave. Not a Burgrave. You should be a Landgrave. Yes, a Landgrave. Right, okay. And this guy... Oh yeah, he shouldn't be my vassal either, right? Because he's right here. He should be Donakulda's vassal, of course. So, let's see... Hitaion will be a Landgrave under the Margraviate of Aldora. There we go. Landgrave there. There! Okay. That makes much better. That makes much better? Did I just say that? That makes more sense. Although really, he shouldn't be a Landgrave. Or should he? I don't know. I don't know how much he's playing either. How active he is. Anyway, that really fixed my vassal situation too. That means I have fewer direct vassals, I believe. Which means that I should have higher state power, right? Oh no! Oh no! Oh no, wait. Wrong, never mind. Okay. I need to redo that. I'll do it off screen though. Anyway, that's what I'm doing now. I'm mostly just messing with stuff, waiting for... research to be done, things to be built, population to increase. Nothing too exciting is happening at the moment. I still need to wait for people to recover from the population redistribution I did. Anyway, I'll be back once Draelk returns. 20 minutes? Wow, that was quite a long section. Stuff is happen. Things are due. I said I would wait with a W to record until Draelk had respawned, and we are still about 5 hours away from that. However, the past few days have been very interesting, very exciting. Not actually in terms of development of my settlements. All I've done really is produce more olives at Olivendorf, and those are now being turned into olive oil and being just distributed to the population. I also built some more houses in Solburg. Solburg is pretty much stagnated at about 1,600 people. The growth will go to plus 25, and then minus 12, and then plus 30, and then minus 15, but it never really goes anywhere. It just stays around 1,600. So whatever. Anyway, I also just today got the research for sword. I also got paper recently. I don't know if I recorded that. I do not think I did. Yeah, I got paper, and I just today started producing that in Alsenfelde. I realized I needed to distribute my industries elsewhere because I can't put them all in Solburg because Solburg's population won't increase. So Alsenfelde has some. Alsenfelde is making 4.8 paper out of wood, and I plan to increase that paper production. Alsenfelde's population is increasing quite a lot too. It's producing a lot of meat and a lot of sheep. It's a nice settlement. I also plan to give Olivendorf to one of my vassals at some point because I just can't. The thing is costing me 500 waste. I can't pay for that anymore. It has to go. Let's see. Other than that, though, nothing really has happened. You might have noticed that I haven't moved the camera. Don't worry, we'll get to that. I had to turn off some of my industries for a while in order to move my workers around, and that caused me to accumulate a lot of ore, which I'm now smelting. It's causing me to consume a lot of coke, which is okay. I'm producing more coal. It's not a big deal. Nothing too interesting is happening at the moment, I think. Yeah, I'm not really sure why the population is stagnated as well. All the food distribution is fine. I'm supplying 17, they need 10. I'm supplying 18, they need 10. I'm supplying 23, they need 15. I'm supplying 24, they need 18. I'm supplying 19, they need 10. This is all good. This is all just fine. They all have plenty of stuff, and they're just not, the population's just not increasing, and I don't know why. Oh well. Anyway, is there anything else I want to talk about before I talk about the one thing that I started recording to mention? I don't think so, no. Okay, so the reason I started recording now is because we've done some stuff. Some things have happened. Wow, this is quite laggy. Encoding overloaded. Yes, indeed it has been overloaded. Oh well. Anyway, as you can see, the map has changed. So, oh yes, here's Olivendorf. It's still annoying. I'll be rid of it someday, just not quite yet. I got 3 more vassals. I have Tam, which I think I already mentioned, but I also got Quethin, who named his city after himself. That's easy. He spawned his settlement here, and then he just migrated this tile, and now he's built his city there, and he has his other city over here, which is a hunting village. And I also, just earlier today, a few hours ago, got, who's this guy? Addercap. I don't know why they use different names in-game than they use in the Discord server. It's very confusing. I'm just Solitarian everywhere all the time, but this guy's Addercat, but in-game he's, what is that, Pork Epic? Anyway, he's spawned, and he plans to expand into these tiles around here. These are actually quite rich tiles. Astronovi has a lot of copper, so he'll be very useful for us. Also, Hoggy Iron was destroyed. Tam, under my command, destroyed Hoggy Iron. It's called reclaiming. I don't know why it's called reclaiming, but in the game you click reclaim and the city is destroyed. And you claim the tile and he just unclaimed the tile. And so now that's empty. which means that I don't have to worry about Draelk spawning in Hoggy Iron. He might still spawn Pigtown, but that's not a problem because I'll get Feed's invite code, and Urbum is close to Feed. Feed, it's only 1, 2, 3 tiles away. And Hoggyheimer is also 3 tiles away. 1, 2, 3, but it's gone now. Pigtown is 1, 2, 3, 4 tiles. No matter how you count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I use Feed's code, Draelk will definitely spawn an Urbum, then we will get all of this for free. And that's not all. That's of course that's good, that's exciting. However, what we really care about is the fact that Donakulda has developed quite a military. He's really the only person in the kongraviate to have a military. We just never really needed one because we haven't had any enemies, but we will soon have some enemies. He has been eager to fight, and he's made this large military, which he will then combine with this other military over here. It's somewhat difficult to see. There it is. These all part of Donakulda's? Yeah, they're all part of Donakulda's army. Which will join these guys, so 453 plus 798 is enough to conquer Desert Fox. He wanted to conquer Urbum Porcorum, and I told him, no, you can't do that because that's Draelk's. But Desert Fox is definitely fair game. He can be shot no problem because he hasn't done anything. He's basically an inactive player. He's just an inactive player that never actually went inactive. He logs in every once in a while in order to not lose control of his civilization, but he's not actually playing, and so I consider him an inactive player. And inactive players are, well, they're sort of like pirates in real life. Pirates are, there's a Latin phrase for this, and I forget what it is, but basically they're under international law, they're considered enemies of humanity, which means they are not protected by any law of any country. They can be dealt with by anyone. So if you kill a pirate, you're actually not committing murder, because murder is only illegal when you kill somebody who's protected by a law, but pirates aren't protected by laws. So anyway, so I consider inactive players to be like pirates, and thus killing them is completely without moral compunction. However, Desert Fox has quite a large army. He has this 364 unit army in whatever, but he also has a 1,000 unit army in Doom Central. So I told Donakulda he must attack whatever and Doom Central simultaneously. He must destroy them both. And I think Desert Fox will react rather quickly. And so Donakulda should definitely kill Doom Central first. I will not take part in this because I, of course, don't have a military. In fact, this was Donakulda's idea anyway. He's very excited to attack someone. He built this big military, he wants to use it, and I say, fine, okay, you can do that. But he's not doing it under my command, so if Desert Fox tells me you shouldn't have done that, I'll just say, well, you shouldn't have been inactive. It wasn't my decision, I didn't do it. Anyway, I'm recording this now because I want to show the world just before the attack begins. The attack will be very soon. This army is getting 44 action points per hour, so in 2 hours it'll be ready. And then the attack will begin. Also, Draelk, who's sitting here, will be ready to respawn in a few hours as well. Also, I got another vassal as well. It is Fayola. Fayola spawned in Muhogs, and I told him that he couldn't stay there because didn't have what he needed, but then I realized this tile is where I spawned all that time ago, and so I know that this tile has everything he needs. So I told him you need to move to this tile, and so I had him make warriors and destroy the city that was here, and now his units are sitting here. That's why he's considered powerless here, because he doesn't have a city. But his nomads are standing here. They need to get enough action points to settle. They need, I think, 4 or 5 more hours to get enough action points for that. And so in about 6 hours, this map will look very different. Well, very different for me anyway. I'll have a lot more stuff, and that's cool. I'll have another city in Old Solburg, and I will tell him to name it Old Solburg too, because yes, good. I just thought of that, but I definitely will tell him to do that. It must be called Old Solburg. Just like there's an old Delhi and a new Delhi and an old Sarai and a new Sarai, there's going to be an old Solburg. And then, of course, we will have whatever in Doom Central as well, and also Urban and Urbi and Felicitatem. So that's six more cities for me in 6 hours. It's very exciting. And hopefully I'll get some more vassals too. That's pretty good. I still need to replace Porcamore, Feed. Feed is inactive. Also, I'm pretty sure Hermes is inactive too. He hasn't really shown any signs of life in quite some time. He did send me 15,000 coins a day or two ago, which suggests to me that he hadn't done anything and his money had just accumulated. So I don't think he'll be doing much, but I'm still taxing him, so whatever, I guess. He can stay inactive. Also, because he's inactive, I don't really feel bad about taxing him way too much. I set his taxes higher than they really should be, but it's fine. It doesn't matter because there's no one there to be punished. He's not actually playing. What else? Also, Redman finally made another settlement. I thought he became inactive too, but he actually wasn't inactive. He was just barely playing, but he is still playing, and he made Kuso City. And also, Voulome is still there, which I think I mentioned previously, but Fallen has been very active. I say very active, relative to some of my other vassals. He made Sumar much bigger. He's expanded it a lot. He made a fortress there, which is entirely unnecessary. He'll never be attacked there, but whatever. He made a fortress, and he also has expanded Irontown, and I have no idea what's happening in Voulome because I can't see it, but I'm sure it's very exciting. Anyway, I can't wait. This will be very good. And it's great for the video series too. And to think I spawned right here, and I thought I would never win the game, and that I would just play a little bit and lose and learn while I was playing, and I never imagined that my empire would become so big. It's great. Also, I should note that I have a higher score than Bukovina now, but not higher victory points. Bukovina still has more of those. However, since Bukovina lost its capital, their ability to progress has been greatly hampered. And so once I get not only higher score, but also more victory points, then I'll be in first place, which I thought would never happen. However, to be in first place, I need to either have 44,400 culture, which is quite a lot, or have 57 life quality, which I don't think will ever happen. Because Solburg needs more furniture, it needs more, why can I not click on this? It needs more olive oil and more furniture, it needs more luxury food, it needs more rugs, and supplying all of those is very difficult because I just don't have the people to work in the industries, which is why Ausenfeld is so important, because that's why I'm in industries. And also, once finally somebody down here is developed enough to get Olivendorf, this guy doesn't have a money economy, he doesn't have barter, he's still working with a gift economy, so I can't give Olivendorf to him, and these other guys are a bit too undeveloped. I don't think they would be able to handle it. They're being taxed too much at the moment. And so I plan to give Olivendorf to Draelk, because Draelk is an experienced player and he knows what he's doing. That was redundant. If he's an experienced player, of course he knows what he's doing. I didn't need to say that twice. Anyway, I'll give it to him, which means that I'll lose Olivendorf, which means my state power will increase dramatically, which means I'll be able to found another settlement, and I plan to do that either right here or right here, and able to complete the highway to the south. And I will use one of these tiles to make more industry. Anyway, that's all for now. I'll be back in. I probably won't be back as the changes are happening because I'll probably be too busy coordinating all of it with my vassals. I mean, not coordinating it because I'm definitely not responsible for the attack on Desert Fox. Desert Fox, if you're watching this, it's not my fault, it's Dona Kulda's fault. Anyway, I'll be back once things have settled and I have time to record and everything has been sorted. So I'll see you then. Things did not go quite as planned. As you can see, Urbem is not a part of my land because Draelk had to wait 2 weeks to spawn as a new leader again. My little mistake when he first spawned meant that I could not get Urbem. So we had to spawn in a succession game, meaning I had to take control of a rebel city. And so I had my vassals clear the rebel cities along here so that Pigtown could be taken by this other guy, Zach, who contacted me and wanted to join. And then Pig City, now called Balaron, could be taken by Draelk. And Draelk is a very good player, so he should be quite active and good and useful and productive and powerful, which is important because also the conquest failed. There was an attack on Doom Central and things didn't go as well as they were supposed to. The AI was very stupid, as it always is. This is why I leave Warfare to my vassals, because Warfare is very buggy. The AI was stupid, and so the units just sort of stood there and waited to be shot and were killed. And some of Desert Fox's army was destroyed, about a third of it was destroyed, but not all of it. Not at all of it. Which means that Desert Fox now has not only this army in whatever, which is of considerable strength, but also his remaining about 700 guys in Doom Central. This is a concern. I did cancel the treaty with him that allowed him open access to my kongraviate, so he now will have to declare war on all of us if he wants to attack Donakulda. At the moment, he is only at war with Donakulda, because Donakulda attacked him. However, because he has access to all of our settlements, he could quickly reach Donakulda with an army if I didn't cancel access. So I had to cancel access, and in so doing, I revealed my complicity in the attack. So now I know that he will very quickly realize what happened, what the problem is, what we tried to do. And I assume he will retaliate with his army. And this means that all of these cities are in a lot of danger. I don't know what to do about that. I told my vassals to make fortifications because Desert Fox will probably attack us back. I don't know how often he logs into this account, though. It definitely is not his main account, and so he might not log in for another week or something. Maybe he just logs in once every 2 weeks so he doesn't go inactive. If that's the case, then we don't have to worry about him retaliating for another probably week or two. However, if he logs in frequently, then he will realize what's happened and maybe do something about it. Oh well. Anyway, another city was founded here, Papaver Roias. I don't really know what the etymology of that name is, but regardless, the kongraviate did expand, just not in the way I expected. There also is this Alt Solburg, because that is where I initially spawned, and so I told Theola to rename that Alt Solburg. And also I've restructured the kongraviate, so now I have as a direct vassal Orcamore, who won't be playing on the server much. He only has one settlement, and so I'll just take all the state power I can from him. So he's my direct vassal. And then I also, of course, have the Northerners, Redman, and Fallen. And then I also made Truffletot a Burgrave because he seems to be inactive too. So I made the inactive guys my vassals, and then the active guys were shifted to Donakulda. So Donakulda has Red Flower, which is Pork Epic, this guy here. And he also has Queefin, that guy. And Queefin then is the lord of all of these people. I think that situation is pretty okay. That seems acceptable. However, Queefin is a direct vassal of Donakulda, and that's quite a distance. Donakulda's capital also was switched from Woodcut to Pharos. Anyway, I also am assisting Donakulda in remaking his military since it was recently killed in a battle. Unfortunately, I can't produce very much. I'm producing a little bit of a leathercloth for him, a few short swords. He's mostly responsible for doing everything. Solburg is still stagnated. Nothing I can do about that, apparently, but that's okay. I need to build another smeltery as well, because I also need more coke, which means I need to get more from Außenfelder, which means I need to build another mine, which I'll do in a little bit. Anyway, it's not the end of the world, but I'm a little disappointed that I couldn't get all of this land immediately. Oh well. It is ultimately not a threat to me personally, because the cities are so distant from Solburg, and to attack Solburg, they would have to attack all these other settlements along the way to Solburg, and that would require many weeks of attacking and waiting for action points and that stuff. So I'm not worried about that. Although I am worried that he'll take Olivendorf, which is relatively undefended. But oh well, there's nothing I can do about it. I definitely won't post this video though until we've resolved this little problem, just in case Desert Fox doesn't know about it until seeing this video. So this one will be posted a little bit later than the others. The servers have been offline quite a lot recently because they crash every time they're supposed to reset, so the developer of the game must manually reactivate them, but he is otherwise occupied at the moment, and so he often doesn't reactivate them until quite a bit later than they should be reactivated. So even though several days have passed, actually not so much in-game time has passed, because during a lot of that time, I think during most of that, real time, the servers were offline, nothing was being simulated. Oh well. Anyway, I had a chat, not really a chat. I sent one message to Desert Fox, and he sent one message in response. And I said, sorry about the attack, and he said, basically, yeah, whatever, I don't care. He's a bit bored of Ymir because he's been playing every day since July, he told me, and he doesn't want to deal with it anymore. So I guess I don't need to worry about him being upset about the attack. That's nice. Anyway, because of the attack, however, because he does still have a relatively large military, like this 660 here and this 865 here, we are still a bit trepidatious about his military capabilities. So I warned all of my vassals around this area to make some fortifications, to prepare for the eventuality of an attack. So I want to make sure that if he does attack, he will lose quite a lot in the attack. And also, the attacks will require quite a long time. If he attacked Bauerfeld, for example, that attack would be really quick and easy because it has no defenders and no fortifications. But if he attacked Balaron, where Draelk is, he would have to fight through a fortification, which is admittedly rather weak. It's just a wooden palisade, but it's something. And he would also be attacked by javelineers while trying to break into the fortification, and so he would suffer quite a lot of losses. And so he would have to conquer it, and then wait, and then remove his troops, and so that would be very difficult for him, and very time-consuming. So I'm not too worried about his attacking us. Anyway, I've also decided that the next video in the series will be the grand tour of all the cities in the whole civilization. It'll take a long time, but I'll do it. I'll finally do it. I kept promising I'll do it. Next time, next video, for sure, will happen. Anyway, Quethan here has renamed his cities into the things that he wants to be delivered to them. He's been rather annoyed that the other vassals have not been helping him as much as he wanted. He also claimed these 2 tiles, which means that Desert Fox cannot march through these tiles. I thought he would march through this tile and that tile, and then go across the ocean up to Solburg, which is why Solburg now has a defense force. It's not a big army, but it's 20. Solburg also has a nice fortification that I'll show you later. Anyway, in the meantime, the settlements have been developing, but you'll see that during the grand tour later. What else? I got technology for heavy helmets because I've been making quite a lot of military equipment in order to finance Donakulda's not finance. Well, yes, finance, but also supply Donakulda's next military expedition. I've made 30 short swords, 6 spears, 12 bows, 30 helmets, and I'm making wooden shields now. So I'm pumping out stuff very quickly. He's also making stuff, so the two of us together will be able to form a force quite a lot more quickly than if he did it by himself. The issue is, though, that he also is offline quite often, otherwise occupied. So I don't think this attack will come anytime soon. But the next army should be twice as large as the last one. Because this 30 short swords and 30 light helmets, if you look at the requirements to make a sword pig, you see 1 sword is necessary per... Oh, I can't show you. Well, I assure you, 1 sword is necessary, 1 wooden shield, 1 light helmet, and 1 padded armor. And so all we need is padded armor, and our good friend Donakulda is making padded armor. See, it's one of each. So we could make 30 of these swords pigs. Oh, there you can see resource requirements right there. And that's quite substantial. And so I hope then that our next army will not be 1,200 strength, but 3,000, 4,000 strength. Also, this means that our military scores increase quite a bit too. Admittedly, it's only at 84, but previously it was at 0 or 10 or something like that. So it's definitely better now because, of course, all of these vassals making their little militaries has assisted our military score. I also have increased paper production as well, and wood production, and meat production. The paper production is still underway at the moment. The building's being constructed, but Alsenfelde has a lot of extra people, and I plan to use those to make a lot of paper, because I also have increased the population of Tongrube, which means that it is exporting wood now, exporting 4.2, which means that some of the wood that Alsenfelde is exporting can be kept in Alsenfelde for the production of paper. And I plan to switch all of my government buildings to paper, so my vassals can use my clay. However, I'm running out of cargo capacity as well. I only have 6 remaining, so I'll need to build some more stuff to deal with that, but that's not a big concern. Let's see, what else I want to mention before I show you Solburg. I've been increasing leather production as well here in Alsenfelde. At the moment that's paused because I need more wood and I need more people to work the farms. And I also have decided to focus on other things as well, like the paper production. So I'm not too worried about that. Of course, my waste is still 613 because of wonderful Olivendorf with its minus 500 waste. I keep trying to give this to one of my vassals, but none of them want it. Who's this? Addercap. Addercap is in gift economy, so is Queefin. And Tam is not in gift economy, but he doesn't want it. So all that's left is Zach and Draelk. Zach has been quiet. I'm not sure what he's doing. And Draelk, I think, is a bit too distant. Well, actually, no, it's only 3 tiles. 1, 2, 3. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. That's not so bad. Anyway, I'll eventually give it to somebody. I also reworked the vassals a little bit. I gave Donakulda the red flower, which is Addercap, so this one, so that Donakulda could have more state power. The problem is that Donakulda's capital is here, and his direct vassal is Queefin here, and that distance is causing a rather large penalty. But there's nothing that can really be done about that, because these 2 vassals are both inactive. Okay, well, not inactive, but certainly not as active as I please. This one, though, is inactive. Oh well. I should also note that Donakulda has a score of 10,000. Very nice. Also, Fallon has been doing stuff too. He's so far north that he's not so relevant to our southern affairs, but he's been active. Also, there's this Cassosity as well, which I mentioned last time, which I'll show you later. Oh, yes. What else did I do? There was something I wanted to mention. Oh, yes. I also increased taxation. I made, not Felgraves, not Burgraves, I made Landgraves pay 5% more tax, and Margraves pay 5% more tax as well. Of course, there's only 1 Margrave at the moment, so it's Donakulda paying me that. But Donogula is getting so much money from all these vassals that I think that makes sense. That seems pretty fair for me. What else? Oh yeah, the loyalty of all my cities is increasing massively. Increasing to 80 because it has defense force and also my high state power. And the high loyalty means that growth will be improved as well. Also, it's at 1,619, so that's fun. I have been giving artisans 1 coin each. My problem was that all of my artisans had a wealth of 1. And if they have wealth of 1, that means they can only access a very limited number of resources. And if we go look at the rich guys, the traders, they can access lots of resources. And because there are 100 artisans, that means that they are about a third of my active population. My adult male population is almost 1/3 artisans. So 1/3 of my adult males were at the lowest possible wealth level, 1, which meant that they couldn't afford doctors, they couldn't afford entertainment, they couldn't afford varied kinds of food, they couldn't afford clothing. And this then was transferred also to the other members because the adult male was accompanied by a female and children. And the female and children have the same wealth level as the adult male. And so that was part of the reason why the health level of the piglets was so low, because they were accompanied by low wealth individuals. Anyway, I'm giving that 1 coin subsidy to artisans, which has then increased their wealth by 1 coin, and that has massively improved everything, basically. And it also improved growth as well. I wish there was something else I could do about that, but it doesn't really seem to be anything I can do. Oh well. Anyway, my wealth has improved, and if I could just finally be rid of Olivendorf, then I would my wealth would improve even more. Also, once I stop making all these military supplies, my wealth will increase. Anyway, also, the keys for this month were released just a few hours ago, and so I hope that soon some people will contact me wishing to join the kongraviate, and if they do, then I will spawn them probably on this island. These are pretty nice cities, and I think they would like being up there in the island. Some noobs, a noob island where they could just relax and mess with cities and learn how to play the game without worrying about being conquered. I think that would be a good idea. Also, I could get somebody to inherit Urbem, although I'd prefer that to be an advanced player. And also there are these remaining rebel cities as well, which I don't really plan to do anything with, although perhaps complete noobs wouldn't really know how bad they are and they would happily take whatever they could get. Anyway, no one has responded to my, at least if I check, no one's responded to my advertisements at the moment. I hate calling them advertisements, but I guess that's what they are. So, I don't know if I'll get anybody. Anyway, I think that's enough blathering for now. I will make this the last section of this video, and then the next video will be the grand tour, right? Okay, so now I'll show you Solburg, which I've been leading to this whole time. So here is the fortress of Solburg. It has 1 entrance, which is this tile, and so all this fortification is meant to defend that 1 tile. These are 3 iron gates, and attackers would need to break through these walls to get to the iron gates, and then the iron gates are all pretty tough. They are somewhere. There they are. Solidity 20 as opposed to wooden gate, which is solidity 7. So they're pretty good. And I also have made these platforms, and the idea is that my archers will stand on this platform when attackers arrive. And as the attackers stand here, trying to break through these gates, the towers and the archers will shoot at the attackers. And I also made these battlements. What are they called? Machicolations? No, machicolations are... Oh yeah, there they are. The machicolations are underneath. The things on top are... I forget what they're called. Anyway, I made those. They are battlements. Yeah, machicolated stone battlement. Anyway, this fortress is really good. I was worried that Desert Fox would send a force to attack Solburg to do as much damage as possible in as short a time as possible, but he didn't. And he only has Eagle Warriors as well, which have no shields, and so they die very quickly to ranged attacks. And so he would have to attack me with an extremely large number of Eagle Warriors to be able to defeat my fortress. Also, the unit pathing around here would be very bad because these fields count as, I think they count as unwalkable terrain, blocked terrain. They count as buildings. So the units would have to walk along the edge of the map here to come to the battlements. And I think that might mess with their pathing a bit. Anyway, I have pretty good waste here. It's only 30. Things are okay. I don't know about this refined people thing though. I need 4400 culture, and I only have 30090, and I wonder how that's calculated because I've had positive 1000 for quite a long time. But I don't know how long this 1000 requires to accumulate. It's definitely not per cycle. If it were 1000 per cycle, then I would need 10 cycles to get 10,000. So I would have this done by tomorrow. I would have this culture level in the 440 culture level in what would that be? 14 cycles, which is approximately a day, I think. But that's not the case. So I don't actually know what the frequency of that culture increase is, but oh well. Anyway, I could make it much higher if I actually populated my academia, but I haven't been doing that because my population has been busy doing other things, which is why I need to migrate my industries to other cities, as I discussed in the previous video. Anyway, I made some more weapon makers. You can see I also removed these towers and rebuilt them on the fortress. These weapon makers are making shields and swords and helmets. And other than that, things are pretty usual. We are still making the metals and cloth, all those things. I've turned off my plank production actually for the first time in a long time because I need to accumulate wood. That's not a huge issue. What else? What else? Oh yes, my furniture makers are making money now. They used to have permanent negative income, but now they don't. So I'm glad. I also deactivated some of my, even deconstructed some of my cider makers because I could produce more with a smaller number if I just upgraded them. They still don't make money though. I don't know what to do about that, but whatever. We're still at 53% satisfaction on that. Oh, what else? I haven't really been doing very much. Again, I've been building these these highest level houses, level 3 large houses, which give slightly higher bonuses than these houses here. These are plus 20, plus 15, and these are plus 25, plus 17. So they're better, but not enormously. But I need more resources for that, and you know how it goes. As you can tell from my voice, I'm not terribly excited about the game at the moment. Nothing really interesting is happening. Although I think with the military stuff, there will be a lot of excitement. We'll take probably Urban Porcorum because I don't think I can find a vassal to inherit it. But other than that, things are pretty calm around here. Probably shouldn't have gone through the loading screen while recording. Anyway, I have nothing more to say, so I'll just cut this out of the video in post-production, and the next video will be about the Grand Tour. So, I'll see you then.